under the same roof, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. And now do we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Watching the World. About a year ago on December the 4th, someone stood on the streets of New York City and took the life of Brian Thompson early in the morning. In fact, it took about 4 minutes before he even received any help. It was such a helpless moment. Tonight, we're going to discuss his hearing that took place for the last 3 weeks. And I had the privilege of being able to go to the courthouse each day to try to examine and understand what's happening with this case. I also have someone with me tonight who attended the hearing as well, and look forward to questioning her and talking with her in regards to the details about this case that you probably will not hear in legacy media on the big screen. In fact, we're going to bring you some details that you may not have heard before. Let's welcome in Mama Flips at this time. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. Nice to have you. So, tell us, what do you think about the last 3 weeks of attending the Luigi Mangione hearing in New York City?
I mean, I thought it's an interesting case. I mean, it's especially as new media, as people that actually go to court to just be in an actual courtroom. I mean, I found it, it's tragic because someone was unalive. So it's a very serious case. But I think I found it interesting because I'm beginning to understand what police officers or detectives would actually go through in order to catch their man. So I'm still trying to figure out whether the officers were so sure, so emboldened because of the area they are, and they believe that they're heroes and they're trying to catch up what they perceive a bad man, so that they're going to break all type of rules or regulation, or if the rules was already broken before they even got picked up Luigi. So it's an interesting case.
So, how about you tell everybody what it's like your first time going into the courtroom for Luigi Mangione? Take us there.
So I went there I think the first day of the trial. Unfortunately, after that, I actually got the flu. So I missed like 2 days, and then I came back the following week. So the first day of the trial, it was to me, it was hectic. First of all, I mean, we were able to get in fairly easy. I got there very late, so we were able to get in because we have media pass. So I was able to get in, but it took them more than an hour to actually set up because I got there really early because I thought the trial was going to start at 9. So I think I got there and I thought I was late. I got there around 8:30. But it took them about maybe a 10 to set up because they couldn't set up the cameras. There was the laptop set up. It was actually the prosecutor, surprising enough, the people who didn't have their laptop set up. So the defense and the people that work in the court had to help them set up tables, set up laptop, and connect the HMI cord. It was crazy. And then the judge took forever to come out. So by the time Luigi came out, I was outside in the hallway. So I didn't even see Luigi actually come in. And I was so annoyed because I was there all that time. So I stepped out to go look to check my email, I think. And when I came in, Luigi was inside sitting. And I'm like, oh, because I actually wanted to feel the moment of when he came in. But when I looked, I mean, I didn't feel, I think I mentioned before when I was in the courtroom with Diddy, I felt like this really immense, like bad energy. Like this is a really bad person in the room, and then my skin crawled. And when I was in the same room with Diddy, but with Luigi, it was just like a regular guy. Like I could have been in court with somebody trying to argue with a judge for a traffic ticket. That's how it felt. Like there was no energy. No one was nervous. No one. There was just nothing there. It was just sitting in a courtroom, just watching the prosecuting defense talk about the whether or not what evidence that they took from him on the day that they arrested him, what is going to be legally allowed for the trial. I felt no negative energy. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, wow. And this guy actually, if it is him, because we have to do alleged, right? He actually was the one that allegedly in the video got up, walk up, and silently, just cruelly, put a pew pew on somebody. And there was, when I tell you, there was no negative energy in that room at all. Everybody was just chilling, cool, just relax. It was crazy.
All right. So, being an observer, do you think that Luigi is so handsome and good looking as the girls say in the courtroom? Any thoughts on that?
Well, he's like my son. He could be like my grandson. So I wouldn't look at him like he was gorgeous and stuff. I would feel horrible to even think about that. But he's not unattractive. I just think like he's a cute kid, like a cute teen to me. He doesn't even look like he's older. He just looked like, okay, this is just a normal looking guy. He is attractive, but it's not even so much that he's attractive. He's just like a calming spirit. Like when I tell you there's no aggression, no negative energy, even when he just sits there quietly. Sometimes he speaks to his lawyers and stuff like that, and they just relax about him. They were smiling at him. They would just have conversation. It's just, I'm telling you, it's just the weirdest thing. Now, I've been to court a lot of time. Unfortunately, I've been to court for my family members and to support others, especially when it comes to pew pew violence, my pew pew work. So I know how it feels to be in a courtroom with the energy, with the negativity, with the sadness, with the anger of family members. I know how to, I've been there. Again, when I was in the Diddy trial, there was a lot of like negative, bad energy in there. But with him, it's just like you just coming in and just sitting there for like a traffic ticket or something like that. It just, there's nothing there. There's no negativity. Even the officers, like I've seen officers, correction officers, give attitude, but everybody just even the judge. I'm like, where the hell are we? Like, it's just the most relaxing trial I've ever been to. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the same when you have like the a jury there, or you have more people. Maybe it's just more relaxing because it's a state case. I just don't know. But yes, he is an attractive guy, but it's just that his whole demeanor is just quiet. He seemed unassuming. You would not have thought that this guy would be so cold-heartedly, if it's him, did what he did. There's nothing threatening about him. That's the only thing I can say. There's nothing threatening about him.
So, what do you think about the girls who find him quite attractive? What were your observation about them?
Well, I do see a few of them that
And guys, and guys, and guys.
yeah, I have seen some guys also. I do see that more of them came back, because at first it was because I counted them. It was about 25 young people that came in. Most of them is young that sit in the back. And then it went down to 10. In the last couple of weeks, it went back up to maybe about 15, 20. They're very quiet. Some of them wear their T-shirts in support of him and stuff like that. They're different denomination, diverse group of people and stuff like that. And they come in just to support him. I mean, it's almost the same thing with Diddy, right? I can only compare Diddy because Diddy is my latest court. So I will always compare them to Diddy. There was a lot of supporters. Like everyone in that courtroom, almost everyone, to be fair, was either reporters or there was Diddy supporters and stuff like that. And non-Diddy supporters like myself was far less, because I could see the energy was going in the room. So yeah, I mean, they're there to support him. They think that he needs support. And I think with them, there was one T-shirt that I actually took a picture of, but I can't remember the exact word. But the way I read it is that they said that the meaning I took from it is catching I guess catching an assumed criminal, is that more important than the technique used to catch them, or something like that? I saw the T-shirt, and I wish I could find it to read the exact word. So the thing is, I believe a lot of them felt that the officers really set him up to catch him. They felt like, again, I'm trying to figure out if Pennsylvania rules and regulation allow them such flexibility to capture people like that, or are they going now backward trying to justify their behavior? You understand what I'm saying? Because it looked like there's a lot of stuff that they did that did not follow the rules and regulations when it comes to civil rights and stuff like that, when it comes to arrest, when it comes to search. So I think a lot of them are coming there, not only because he's attractive, obviously it is because he's attractive, but also because they feel that his civil rights was taken away with that arrest.
Okay, so you have some footage in regards to the final day.
Yes.
We want to share that with the audience, all right?
Yes, please. Please share it with the audience, and then I'll explain.
Okay.
I know, I should.
Next is we have a few. I don't think so.
Who is this that we see on the screen?
This is Mark A. Anifilo. How do you pronounce his last name?
Agnifilo.
Agnifilo. That's the main lawyer for Diddy that everybody said that got Diddy off, which he did not. And it's his wife that is actually, you're going to see his wife, Karen. She's the one that's actually the lead prosecutor, because he's going to say, let's ask the boss in a couple of minutes. But that's him, and you're going to meet his wife shortly.
Okay.
Where's the boss? Are we talking outside? No, I don't think so.
So you guys have no.
Okay, who is the female we see here?
That's his wife. I believe it's Karen
Agnifilo.
Agnifilo. Thank you. That's the lead prosecutor, and that's his wife. They both are defense lawyer for Luigi.
Okay, very good.
So just before you get there, so what happened is that one of the reporters asked if you guys going to go outside and give us a press conference, right? And he said that let me ask the boss. And that's when she turned around and she said, no, we're not going to give a press conference outside. And now you're going to hear me ask them a question. Go ahead.
Okay, very good.
And to say about how Luigi feels about what's going on.
Okay, who is the female in the middle?
That I don't know. I think those are their assistant attorney, but I don't know any of the other, because I don't believe they've ever been introduced to me. I only know them, and I know the lead prosecutor, I believe. Oh God, I can't believe it. It's his name, Jeff, and I know the two Jacobs. So okay. The ladies it look like they are their assistant that come in and help them. They're probably their legal assistant, but I don't believe they've ever been introduced formally.
Okay, very good. We'll keep going.
With this case, I mean, I just heard about the legal wiretap. Have you spoken to him? Well, how does he feel about how everything is going on?
We're not going to share anything about the client.
At all. So there's nothing. Is he feeling
we gotta
optimistic or anything? Nothing. You're not saying nothing. All right. Think of giving us an interview or something. The media. Saying something to the media for us. We're allowing.
Prosecution still hasn't corrected the record.
Say that one time. The prosecutor did what?
Still haven't corrected the record.
They should correct the record, right?
They still haven't.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Thank you for telling us. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, who is the gentleman here in the gray suit?
I think that's one of the Jacobs. I think that's one of the Jacobs, but
that's one of the Kaplans. His name is Jacob. Yeah.
Oh, I mean one of the Kaplans. I'm sorry, one of the Kaplans. Okay. One is Jacob, and one of the Kaplan. One is Jacob, and one is his name starts with an S. No, Zach. One is Zach, and one is Jacob Kaplan. So that's one of the Kaplans, probably.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Very good. Let's close this out here.
Yeah, don't get in with them. All right. So they were trying to tell everybody to leave the defense alone, let them go downstairs.
I just saw myself in the video. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, me and you talk in the elevator, and then we talk all the way until we go downstairs. So you just
okay. All right, very good. So all right, so now I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna take this down.
Do you want to talk about what's going on right there?
Yeah, you can continue that. I'm gonna drum up the actual press conference, so you continue talking
and so forth. Afterwards.
I have the press conference. Yes.
Oh, great. So they did do the press conference. I left. I didn't
So
know
why
they
you?
actually do the press conference. So let's listen to the press conference.
So while you explaining, I'm gonna go ahead and pull things up so you can keep talking. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, I didn't know that they actually did the press conference because after that we went down. I took the next elevator because the court officers say, please allow the defense to leave. So I took the next elevator, and then when I went downstairs, I went through the back door to go to work. But just to talk about this, what's happening is that if you've been listening to Mel and you've listened to my live, there's been a lot of incorrect activity by the Pennsylvania police officer in order to capture Luigi. There was an illegal search, right? There was a legal questioning. There was no, they didn't read him his Miranda rights. There was a lot of shenanigans going on. They are now justifying it by saying that Pennsylvania have a different rule than anybody else. Apparently, Pennsylvania officers could just approach someone and tell them to remove their mask and tell them to give them an ID, ask them the name. I mean, they have the same thing in New York also. But if the officer assume that that's not you, they have a right to call you out and say that you are not the person that's in the ID. And according to Pennsylvania, if you give them a wrong ID, then that's considered a felony and they can detain you, right? Now, the thing about Pennsylvania with detaining, when you detain somebody in New York, once you mention, at least to my understanding, once you mention that you're detaining somebody, the person can't leave, you have to make a decision whether you're going to arrest them or not. And if you arrest them, that's when you're going to read them the Miranda rights. You cannot search them until you get a warrant. That's not what happened in Pennsylvania. Once they decided that that was Luigi and he lied, they said that he was detained. And then they searched his bag without a warrant, and then they asked him a bunch of questions, right, without reading him a Miranda rights. So that's what we found out in court. Now, I just found out the last day, which I'm sure that Mel probably knew, but I found out the last day that apparently there was an illegal wiretap. Two things is going on. When he went into the police, after they questioned him at McDonald's, they frisked him 3 times. They searched his bag without a warrant. Apparently, when they took him to the police, besides, they didn't give him a lawyer. I guess he said he had a Fifth Amendment rights to not speak, but they questioned him. And not only they questioned him, they actually illegally wiretapped the conversation and questioned him. So according to my understanding, the judge did drop it, right? The judge said you cannot use the wiretap. However, according to his defense lawyer, they did not correct the record when it comes to wiretap. But there was something else. One of the NYPD detectives, I think it's Sergeant Diaz, right, actually went to San Diego to speak to his mother. And he spoke to his mother, and apparently, according to the conversation, his mom said that she wasn't. There was 2 conversations. First, she said that didn't look like my son, and then after that, she said that did look like my son. But I think what really got the lawyers upset is because they said that they caught the mom saying that, "Oh, if that's my son, I would not be surprised he would do something like that," right? And that's what the defense is upset about, because they were supposed to bring in Sergeant Diaz last week, right? So that defense have an opportunity to question him. Because if you submitting all the stuff in records, we as his lawyer have a proper opportunity to question you guys. They did not bring him. According to Mel, because I wasn't there at the hearing, Mark A. Agnifilio, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, could not attend the hearing, so they didn't bring Sergeant Diaz to be questioned. So they said that he wasn't there because Mark couldn't attend the hearing. They needed Mark there. But the last day, the defense expected Sergeant Diaz to show up, and they say, no, we have no more witnesses. And they caught, and that's another thing, you gotta be very careful with these lawyers, especially when it comes to Mark. I'm telling you, Mark did so much shenanigans in the Diddy trial. I could list every shenanigans that he pulled in the Diddy trial. And Mark don't play. Mark is trying to play, not Mark. I mean, I can tell you what Mark did, but apparently the prosecutor is playing the same game that Mark. And there's the prosecutor that did not bring in Sergeant Diaz. right?
So wait a minute. I was at the Diddy trial every day. What shenanigans did Mark do?
Oh, come on. Let's not argue about it. You know, first of all, Mark and the defense for Diddy, they got a lot of things thrown out. If you were there and you were there during the lunchtime and during the conversation in the morning between the lawyers and the judge, they got a lot of things thrown out, but yet they would turn around the piece of evidence that they told the defense and that they told the prosecutor they couldn't use. They would bring it up in a different way and bring it up in a negative light for the victims. And it would drive me crazy when they would do something like that. A prime example, right? My best example that made me so mad was Kid Cudi car. Kid Cudi car, right? They worked very hard to say that they could not use certain evidence with the Kid Cudi car because of the fact the fire department could not prove that certain evidence, right, was actually he didn't follow through with certain interviews and he didn't follow through with certain evidence. Like he was supposed to do like there was a glove in the car. The fire marshal said that the glove belonged to Kid Cudi, but he didn't do additional evidence to find out how did the glove go in the back of the car. Also, he did not have a chance to interview what's her name? She said that she was kidnapped. Oh God.
Capricorn Clark.
Yeah, Capricorn Clark. So he didn't interview Capricorn Clark. He called Capricorn Clark several times, right? But she didn't answer the call. So we all agree that the fire marshal did not interview Capricorn Clark. We all agree that the glove belonged to Kid Cudi because he said that was his glove. And we all agree that there were that someone threw a cocktail and burned the car. Right? We all agree. However, Mark took the time to try to devalue all of this evidence because he was saying that, oh, we don't know because you didn't do the investigation. So how did we know that the glove did not belong to Kid Cudi? How do we know that it wasn't? And they tried to say it was a female that actually threw the cocktail, or it was Kid Cudi one of the girls that he was dating, sister.
There was DNA on the bottle. There was DNA on the beer bottle. That's where they got the female from the DNA.
Yes, but they alleged, but I don't think it was. They never actually was able to submit the DNA to prove that there was a female there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there was evidence that they were not able to put in to justify who actually threw the bottle, but Mark was able to use the same the fact that they couldn't investigate the Capricorn, the fact of the glove, the fact of the alleged DNA, because remember they kept on objecting to the DNA because there was no DNA done. Right, there was no DNA.
They determined it was female DNA, but they
determined it was female. They
alleged, they did, but they didn't run it to see who it belonged to.
Exactly.
That's what they did.
I mean, they alleged, but I'm saying I'm not going to confirm because I didn't see the report. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't see the report. They're alleging a female. There was female DNA, right? Then they harassed the fire chief. It was like, why didn't you send the DNA to the Los Angeles Police Department to do a DNA test? He said, that's not my job. My job is just to do the investigation and stuff like that. It's part of the Los Angeles Department to actually continue DNA, right? To find out that the DNA test was lost, right? So the defense was the prosecutor was like, objection to this whole line of questioning, because first of all, we don't have a official DNA. We don't know exactly what happened. We know that that the glove, according to the testimony of the oh my God, now you got me low. What is his name again?
Kid Cudi.
According to Kid Cudi, that's his glove, right? But Mark used the same set of evidence to try to make it, even though we had no proof to say that that was a female, that actually it was a jealous girl that actually threw the cocktail on Kid Cudi car. Those are the kind of shenanigans that got me pissed off, because the prosecutor could not use, for example, the prosecutor was like, they were trying to say that we are not the one that didn't do the job. Why did the LA department did not do a DNA investigation? So where they were going, or they were trying to go, to say that maybe something happened in which, because we already know Diddy has money, maybe somehow, just like he did away with the Cassie video by playing the blackmailer, maybe he did something with the LA department, and it became a big deal. Like, oh, objection, objection, objection. We need to get this case thrown out because they're lying in the LA, the Los Angeles, the police department. So what I'm saying is that everything that happened in that case, whatever the prosecutor was trying to use or trying to prove about what happened to Kid Cudi, they reversed it. They reversed it to put a lot of doubt on the evidence of what happened with Kid Cudi. They also reversed it, not only with the car, they reversed it to the point where now they question Capricorn Clark, because if the car was a lie, the DNA was a lie, the glove was a lie, then obviously Capricorn Clark was a lie also. So that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. They're so good at that. Mark was excellent about that. That's one. Second thing that Mark was good at was, because Cassidy had a relationship with Kid Cudi and she broke up with Diddy. We saw the evidence that she broke up with Diddy. We did. She said that we were over. We saw the text messages, but they turned around and called Cassidy a hoe and said, "Oh, she was sleeping with Kid Cudi." And I remember when Mark said that, if I could have knocked his ass, if I could have walked up and knocked his ass out when he did that, I was so angry when he did that. He's like, "Oh, she was seeing, you know what type of woman she was. She was seeing Kid Cudi, she was seeing Diddy and stuff like that. And who else was she seeing at the time?" I'm like, "You son of a bitch, you piece of trash, you lying son of a bum. You knew that she said that they broke up. You saw the text messages. He even cried to her. Oh, I know that we're no longer together. So you saw what happened. You knew they weren't together. That's why she was with Kid Cudi. But yet you made it as if she was whoring with Kid Cudi. Oh my God. Oh,
so let's I just want to interject, because some people are a little confused, and
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No. I want to explain, because you brought up the DNA of the liquor bottle.
Yes.
So what is that liquor called? It's called I don't drink beer. It's a 40 Old English, right?
Old English? Was it Old English? Okay.
So Gold Digger, let me just bring you up to speed. It was an Old English
bottle,
beer bottle, okay? And so what happened was, after this whole thing happened with Capricorn Clark allegedly being kidnapped, going to Kid Cudi's house, Kid Cudi had a Porsche, a black Porsche. Someone went there and cut a hole through the, I guess it's leather, whatever material it's made out of, and they dropped what do they call a Molotov? They call it, I think it's a Molotov
cocktail.
So they poured out gasoline in it, dropped it in, and when it fell in, there was a silk designer silk scarf inside the bottle.
Yes.
It was dropped into the car, and the way it fell, it didn't detonate like it should have. So that's what we're talking about. And on that bottle, there was female DNA.
Alleged.
So that's what. Nope. I'm telling you what I know.
I know what you're saying, but the thing is, they didn't prove it. We had no report to say it. They
didn't prove who. They didn't prove who, but they knew. In order for them to know it was a woman and not a man, they had to have done something to it to make that determine. They can't look at it and tell. So they did something to determine that much, is what I'm saying.
I understand that. That's what was said, right? And it was objected. It was supposed to be stricken. It was objected because, unfortunately, because the DNA, the report was lost, right? We weren't able to identify anything, right? We wasn't able to identify who it came from and everything. That's why I'm saying alleged. Yes, this is what they said. I'm saying alleged because according to the trial, they didn't continue with the investigation. It was supposed to be stricken. It was supposed to be dropped. But yet the defense kept on bringing it up. The prosecutor couldn't bring it up, but the defense kept on bringing it up to the point where they're trying to allege that the DNA in the bottle, even though it was supposed to be stricken, sustained, objected, thrown out, had to be, and they kept on trying to infer, not even they tried, they did infer that it couldn't have been Diddy that did it, or Diddy Guard that did it, or somebody that they said it had to be, because they kept on trying to say, oh, you such a good looking guy, Kid Cudi. You were dating other women, Kid Cudi. Weren't you dating somebody else? Didn't you live with your girlfriend's sister? Maybe something happened between y'all two. They kept on trying to just make this into something, and this is what Mark Agnifilio is good at, is making up these damn stories, right, to make his case the better case. That's why I call him the O.J. Simpson team. Now, with that said, though, the prosecutor got them on time, and I should be happy about that, but I'm not, because I kind of, want to find out what's going on with Luigi. But the prosecutor got him this time. The prosecutor was supposed to bring in Sergeant Diaz, right? But they fooled Mark and Cameron and his team, because Sergeant Diaz never came in so they could question him about him talking to allegedly Luigi mom, and getting that statement saying that Luigi mom said that she believed that could be her son, because according to the last day, Luigi mom said that she never said that. That's what I got. Luigi mom never said that. I never said that. I never said that that was my son. That's what I got. And let me know if you got the different information from me, because that's why at the end of the day I wanted to ask him a question. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know anything about a legal wiretap. I didn't even know that they spoke to the mom, and that's what she said. They have to change the record. They have to remove those two statements out, because we didn't have a chance to talk to Detective Diaz. So the prosecutor put a fast one on the defense this time, and they all do it. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it, and that's what was the conversation between me and the defense at the
okay. So what are some of the details about the Luigi Mangione case that you find will be troublesome for the officers?
I think all of it is troublesome. I think everything was troublesome for me. As I said, the fact is, he was in there, he was having, because I know you showed the video several times before. We don't want to show all the videos again. They approached him having breakfast at McDonald's, right? He had, first of all, he no longer had the eyebrow, because apparently they said that he had a alleged eyebrow. That's why they knew who he was. He's shaving the unicorn, whatever, United eyebrow. He saved that. When they approached him, he had his hat down to his face, and he had a mask, right? So according to some of the statements, apparently the manager or some people that was at the McDonald's said that we see somebody that looked like the person that unalived the CEO. The officers approached him to ask him a question. Apparently in Pennsylvania, you have the right as an officer, a patroller, boy in blue, to approach anybody eating breakfast and telling them to remove their mask and their hat. So once they removed the mask and the hat, they was like, yeah, that's the guy. So they asked him his name. He gave them a different ID. Now, the moment that they gave him a different ID, it should have been game over. If they felt that was Luigi, they should have gone. They should have got a warrant, right? And asked him and then speak to him and read him his Miranda rights. That's not what they did. They went back and forth. More officers came in, and they kept on pressuring him and saying, oh, that's not you. That doesn't look anything like you. They did reach out. Don't get me wrong. They did reach out to New Jersey, to the NYPD in New Jersey, to see if they could verify the ID. But my thing is that once you verified and you believe that guy was not the guy in the ID, that's it. You should arrest him. Like, don't detain him. Just arrest and say, okay, we got to bring you in. This is a false ID. That's all they did. It took them about 20, 30 minutes to go through the process. They had more officers. They frisked him 3 times. They said, oh, we're just detaining you and stuff like that. Then they told him that, oh, we know that it's not you. If you don't tell us who we are, who you really are, then we're going to arrest you because it's a felony. So they got him to admit, right? And then they put him in handcuffs. They did all of that before giving him the Miranda rights. They kept on frisking him. And then after that, at the restaurant, prior to, I thought it was at the restaurant, but you said it was at the police precinct. But prior to them getting a warrant, they searched his bag, right? And they're trying to justify that by saying that him giving his wrong last name, they were detaining him so they didn't have to read his Miranda rights, right? And him giving this last wrong name, they felt that since it looked like him, because they all watch Fox News. This is my favorite part. Most of them was Fox News watcher, and they believe that no other report, no other media was covering the story except for Fox News. So since we saw his picture on Fox News, we knew that was him. So they felt that they have a right as police officers and as heroes to violate his civil rights. And the civil right violation is not reading him his Miranda rights after they detain him, and also searching his bag without his warrant, without a warrant. Now, for us to find out when they went to the precinct, they had a wiretap on him. They had a wiretap on him, an illegal wiretap. And then you send an officer to speak to his mom. Like, what are we doing? They broke so many rules in order to get this guy, right? To the point that now the judge has to look at everything. Now, to me, and I mentioned to Mel, and I said it on my live, I think the judge is partial to the prosecutor. No disrespect to the judge. I hope I don't get kicked out, but I'm feeling that the judge is a little bit partial to the prosecutor, because every time the defense had an objection, the judge was just really snappy. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, we're not in trial right now. I'm just listening to the evidence, where they're like, come on, judge. I mean, they're doing a lot. I mean, everything that they're saying is prejudicial to actually corrupting the jury pool right now for our client, because they're putting so many different things out that our client is not going to have a reliable, unpartial, right, non-biased judicial pool. And the judge, to me, wasn't hearing it. It's like everything the prosecutor put out there allowed, to the point at the last day. You mean to tell me that judge was, because no disrespect, I don't know the judge, but I'm saying the judge knew that Sergeant Diaz should have been presented for the defense to question. Why would the judge allow them to close the case without the prosecutor bringing Sergeant Diaz there so they could question about what he said to the mom? It's just, I just think the judge is kind of leaning towards the prosecutor, and I think the judge is going to try to do everything he can to allow every piece of evidence that's there. But I think the judge should let go of anything that Luigi said at the McDonald's. I think the judge should let go of the bag. The bag should not be admissible. Everything in the bag that should not be admissible should be thrown out. That's it. I mean, they're going to have to start all over again, or they have to figure out other evidence. I think what they did was wrong. So, but I don't know. The judge just seemed to be more partial to the prosecutor. I think the judge wants the trial to go on, and I think he's going to try everything he can based on whatever, rules and regulations, because they kept on putting. One thing the prosecutor kept on pushing is that every officer was trained in Pennsylvania. They kept on pushing that. And they kept on saying that, oh, you weren't trained in New York, right? And you didn't have any conversation with the NYPD, because they know the way that you do, even though NYPD is, they do whatever the hell they want to. But NYPD, apparently the rules and regulation when it comes to warrants and the Miranda rights is probably a lot stricter than Pennsylvania. So they're trying to say that the officers didn't do anything right. They were just following the rules and regulation in Pennsylvania. This is why I say, I don't know if the officers are trying to backtrack on all the bad things they did, or the Pennsylvania rules and regulations is so lax that it could be corruptible. That's what I have to say about it.
Okay, Openness says, do you think the judge is going to allow the bag of contents?
Yes, I'll be very surprised. I think the judge should not allow it, but I don't know. Just based on the way the judge is treating the prosecutor versus the defense, I think the judge is going to try everything he can to allow the bag to be in. Because I really think I just got the feeling that the judge is partial to the prosecutor, the people. I just got the feeling, just based on every time. For the prime example is when they pull out the huge photo of Luigi with Maryland. Apparently he had two IDs. So I thought it was the New Jersey ID that they had a problem with, but apparently he had another ID. So I think, I'm not sure if there was the New Jersey or Maryland ID, but either way, they blew up a huge ID and they put it on the front to show that the officer to ask a question. And they kept it there. And the defense was like, Judge, can we, now that we've seen the ID, can we just Yeah, that's what I call them, Keystone Cops. Thank you for remembering that. That's what I called them, the Keystone Cop, in my first interview with you. So they said that can we let them bring down the photo? Judge, please, can we? The judge was like, yeah. He just snapped at him. He's like, what? Like, I'm like, judge, can we have them just bring down the photo? Okay, fine, just take the photo down. Like, I'm like, everything he said, like, there was one time, what did they say? They kept on calling him the CEO unaliver. They kept on calling him the CEO unaliver. And I think the defense was saying, Judge, can we stop having them call him the CEO unaliver, the CEO iller, okay, or the CEO murderer? Can we have them just call him defense? He's like, oh, it's almost a justice, like, oh, that's not a big deal. You know, he won't call him that during the trial, but here is okay. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is it here is okay? Like, we got the whole media here. And that's what they were saying. We have the whole media. They said that everything that's being reported here is going to affect our jury pool, Judge. So can we kind of, like, we are here to throw away some of these evidence, and then you just allowing everything to come out. Like, can we, like, like, this is not legal. And I'm just getting the judges, like, he just doesn't seem to care to me. That's it.
Okay.
I don't want to disrespect the judge. Judge, please don't kick me out of court. I'm not disrespecting you. You're doing what you have to do. I'm just feeling that he's more partial than prosecutor. That's just me.
Opening says it seems that all the legal experts say he'll keep the bag, but throughout the statement,
he might. I mean, they said that they're trying to throw out the wire tap because they thought that was illegal. But I think that they're going to try to keep the McDonald's statement. The McDonald's statement, they should throw out the bag, period. They should throw out the bag because they actually searched the bag prior to getting the precinct, prior to the warrant. They should throw out the bag. But I think he's going to try it. But I think they're going to try to also keep the statement at McDonald's, because why did you approach him? If the judge throw out them questioning him at McDonald's, then the case should be over, because there's no reason why you're going to approach a young man. He didn't do anything. You told him to remove his hat and his mask, right? What was your justification to approach the guy in the first place to tell him to remove his mask and hat? And when he gave you his ID, what was your justification to say that wasn't his ID? Like, you know, said, and what gave you the right to continue to question him and not read him his Miranda rights? You should have read him in the Miranda right. Once you look at the ID and said, oh, that's not you, you are committing felony, we're Mirandaizing you right now and we're putting you in jail so we can get a warrant to ask you questions. They didn't do none of that. If they throw, in my opinion, the questioning out of McDonald's, that them approaching them, then it should be case over. It should be case over, because what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? Right? So I think they're going to try to keep the McDonald conversation. They're going to try everything they can to keep the McDonald conversation. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one here.
Okay, so opening says it's the bags that matter.
The bag may matter. Yeah, the bag does matter. But the thing is, the bag matters because the bag is allegedly has the book, right? The bag allegedly have the magazine, and they also have a web. They have a bunch of stuff in the bag. That's what had the evidence, right? Okay. What gave them the authority to look at the bag? Right? That's the point. They're saying the reason they were allowed to detain him, arrest him, is because he gave them a fake ID, guys. That's the point, not the bag itself. The reason why they approached them is because someone called and said that they saw the CEO unaliver there in McDonald's. If you saw the body cam, his face was completely covered with a mask. They approached him and asked him to remove the mask and hat. What gave you guys the authorization to do that? Nobody did, except for there's a rule in Pennsylvania that they could question anybody. Now, when he took off his hat and his mask, what made you think that was the guy? He gave you a legitimate photo ID. It doesn't matter whether he has multiple ID or not. They weren't allowed to check him. They didn't arrest him. They weren't allowed to check him. He gave him the ID, okay? Gave you the ID and stuff like that. Oh, this looked like the guy. All right, sir, thank you. And thank you for asking my question. We out of here. From the moment they looked at his ID and they determined themselves, because they said it, the Keystone Cops said it, like at least 5 of them said, 3 of them said, we saw his photo on Fox News, so we knew that was our guy. From the moment you said that was not his name, I think his name was Mark on the ID, right? Then you should have, I think you said there was another name though, Mel, but the name
So initially he said Mark Lazario. Then he said, then on the ID, the New Jersey ID, it says Mark Rosario.
okay.
And then he also provided a Maryland passport that was legitimate that had Luigi Mangione on it.
Exactly. But from the moment they asked him about Mark, his first name, you said Mark.
Verbally, I heard Lazario,
Okay,
but the officer, when they had the fake ID, it said Mark Rosario. So it almost, go ahead.
But from the moment, I'm sorry, Mel, from the moment they saw the ID and they decided that this was a fake ID because it looked like a regular driver's license to me. From the moment they saw it was a fake ID because they saw his picture on Fox News, they should have arrested him according to Pennsylvania law. You're not supposed to provide a fake ID, and then we would have been off and running. They did not do that.
And also,
yes.
Karen Agnifilo, she expounded on it, and she got the officer to admit, I forget which one, I think it was Fox, that actually the bigger felony is when he stated the wrong name versus giving the false or fake ID. So technically giving the wrong name, she said he should have been arrested basically for that, but they didn't.
Exactly. Hey, I just want to say hi to my son on Instagram. Hey, Flip. Mel, please say hi to my son, Flip.
What's up, Flip? How are you? Nice to have you here.
Thank you for coming. Please come on. If you're watching on Instagram, Flip, please come on YouTube, Watching the World, and check us out.
Explain to everybody who Flip is, other than he's on the wall behind you.
You can see right.
Explain to them
who he
is.
Queen's Flip is, if you guys know, my son is Queen's Flip, and if you guys know Queen's Flip, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Queen's Flip is. But yeah, so that's who my son is. But anyway, I just love to say hi to him because he shows up on my Instagram every once in a while. I want him to come to the YouTube though. So yes. So what was saying?
So guys, her son is a big time celebrity, just so you guys can understand what the conversation is about. So
yes, he's huge.
All right, cool.
Yes, he to me, especially, he's a celebrity. They say, who was it? It was I think it was Omar Wiggins. He was having a conversation on his show that some people say that he's not a celebrity. He said, well, when they know they have a celebrity profile online. Like if somebody's a celebrity, they do a celebrity profile. They do a celebrity profile under their birthday. So he's like, well, they did a celebrity profile on my birthday. So it's just so funny because some people think people are celebrities not. But my son is definitely a celebrity. And I think so. So anyway, but he's been there for a long time. And he started a lot of stuff that all you young Gen Z are doing. Flip was the first one to do it since 2008. He hates when I say this, but that's what it is. And I stand on it because I have proof and I have receipts. But anyway, that's my baby. But to go back, yeah, so that's exactly what the situation is with Luigi, right? And she's right. So his defense attorney is fighting the fact that if they're standing on the Pennsylvania law that says that you are a felon, you are committing a felony, right? If you give us the wrong name. Okay? That's what they're saying.
Point blank, period. Yes.
He shouldn't have been detained. He should have been arrested right then and then, and his Miranda rights should have been read within that first 5 minutes. But they're trying to go back because they held him at the McDonald's for over 20 minutes. They searched him 3 times. They searched his body 3 times. 3 separate officers searched him, right? And then they searched his bag. And they trying to say, oh, the reason why we were able to do that is because he was detained. No, sir. Detention means that I'm going to detain you, ask you a question, and I got to tell you whether I'm going to arrest you or not. And after I tell you I'm going to arrest you or not, right, that should be like a 5 minutes conversation, right? They knew. And another thing that they're doing that's making me crazy, it's a big thing when it comes to the evidence. So the stuff in the bag, apparently in Pennsylvania, you're supposed to fill out a form, right? And it's supposed to be very detailed where you're supposed to separate his personal item from what is considered evidence, right? They didn't do that. Like, for example, his ID, his wallet, and everything like that. He had an eating bar. He had a protein bar. They were supposed to submit it separately. They put everything under evidence, right? And they can't explain that. That's the thing that's making me crazy with them. They can't explain it. So we're saying, okay, fine. So you considered, why did you put everything under evidence then? Because if he was detained, right? If he's detained and you don't know who he is, you're supposed to separate his personal. Why is everything under that form under evidence? Why is it? Oh, because we knew that he was who he was, and everything that was in the bag and everything on him was going to be transferred to the NYPD as evidence. But that's not what it is when it comes to Pennsylvania, right? They're going backwards. They're trying to justify all their bad behavior by using the Pennsylvania rule, the search and arrest rules. And even in their rules, they're breaking the law. They're breaking the law. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah.
Okay, so Openness wants to know, what do you think about his mental? Do you think he's unwell? What's your perception?
The thing is, seeing him in court, he just seemed like a regular guy. We haven't heard him spoke, so I can't tell you whether he's unwell or not. Obviously, if he is the person that's approached coldly, if it is him and then he did what he did, because we all saw the video, then that's somebody that suffers from a serious psychosis. I can't name it. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor, so I can't name it. I mean, he could be a sociopath. He could be a sociopath as far as I'm concerned. Because for you to walk up like that and unlike somebody like that with a silencer in the morning, I mean, I think it was in the early morning, like you didn't give a damn, and then after that you just pack it up and just walked away, and after that you went back and got home, and then you ended up having a breakfast at McDonald's. That's a sociopath to me, if that's him, right? But we haven't spoken to him. But we haven't heard anything he had to say. All I know, I'm telling you, his demeanor in court is a genteel, kind, friendly person. If you see the person, I mean, like if you approach somebody and you see their mannerism, the way they smile, the way they move their hand, even when he stand up to get handcuffs, right? Because they stand him up all the time. Beforehand, the first day he was there, I don't know, after that, the cops stood. There was a black officer, a black female officer with braids, and another officer, I think he's a white male, and they stood behind him all stern. After that, they all sat behind him all chilling, relaxed, no drama, like they come and go. And then when he gets up, it's like he just put his hand out, and then if anything, he'll talk to them. He'll just lift his hand gently, and he'll talk to them, and then they just, pat him and keep him walking. There's no aggression about this guy whatsoever. He would not have been the type of person that you would think that would have committed something like that just by looking at him in court. But again, we have to see how it goes. This is just a hearing. We have to see what happens with if he changes his demeanor when the jury is there, when there's just nothing. There's nothing threatening about this guy. I mean, Diddy was like an a-hole. It's like literally Diddy was passing his lawyer's notes, and you could see in Diddy's face when he was mad or he was aggressive, or like when he looking back, especially when he used to have these conversations with the jury, like looking at the jury and like, can you believe that Diddy did all of that? You understand? With him, maybe it's because the jury's not there, but with him, he didn't do anything. He just not do anything.
You know what's crazy? Your perception of Luigi is opposite of mine, and your perception of Diddy is opposite of mine. It's weird how we see things totally opposite.
Well, I think that you like
Diddy. That's yeah, right.
Okay, what is you keep asking me about my perception of Luigi?
Hold on.
What is your perception of Luigi? Please tell us.
Okay, but we gotta fix this whole Diddy situation.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm only kidding when I say he likes Diddy. No, I'm only kidding. Kidding.
Okay. We got to get that clear, because that gets a little weird. You know what I mean? No, I'm just messing with you. But anyway, we can go to both of them now. I'm cool with it. Okay. As far as Luigi, I see him as being detached. I don't know if it's medication or what have you, but he's always looking. It's just my observation, being there every day, just looking at him coming in and out. I think that they would try to play the insanity with him. That's just my opinion. We'll have to see if it in trial, if it plays out, then we'll have to, like the lieutenant told the officer, you have to buy me a hoagie.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have to buy you a hoagie if you're right. Okay.
Yeah. You didn't talk about. I didn't hear you talk about that part of it either. So you have to. You should explain that story. Can you explain it?
You told me that story actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't even hear it, but
So
apparently
so
a
let
lot of them were going back and forth. No, that's not true. I did hear the story. I did hear something. I think it was is it Sergeant H, the lieutenant that was in charge, and
Hanley. Yeah,
Hanley,
yeah.
where they said they called and they said that
He's lieutenant. Let's just
okay,
Lieutenant
the
Hanley.
lieutenant.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
go ahead and tell us the story because I think you did tell it to me. Go ahead and tell
So
us.
when the call first came in that Luigi was in McDonald's, right?
Mhm.
It came through the dispatcher,
Yes,
and
911.
then they heard it over the radio. The lieutenant called in, or he called the lieutenant. I think the lieutenant called him
Yes.
and says, "Hey, if this is really the New York shooter, then and probably we shouldn't be saying shooter either."
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
shouldn't
God.
be saying shoot or
He
anything
says,
like
I'll
alleged.
buy you a hoagie." And when he took the stand, he defined that it would be a turkey hoagie because that's the favorite of Officer Detwilder.
Oh, okay.
Wilder,
Right.
yeah.
Because
So
Deb
that's it.
Wilder was the one that was there the first time with
He's the main one,
yeah.
but the body cam that we get when they get to McDonald's is actually
Is it Fox?
Fries.
Fries. Okay.
Fries in training with Detweiler. And
Yes.
so that's why when they get out of the car, you see Detweiler walking in front of Fry. He's with the bald head, and they're
Yeah.
going into McDonald's. The reason why you don't hear them walking or any sound is because it takes 1 minute for the sound to catch up with the video when they turn on the body camera.
Allegedly. Listen, a lot of these damn officers was muting, had their camera muted, right? So there was a comment. There was one of them that was like, "Why did you mute the camera?" Oh, it's because we were talking about what did they say? Oh, our conversation was colleague to colleague, so we do not videotape body video. I mean, we do not record our conversation colleague to colleague. That's about some BS. A lot of them didn't have their cameras on, right? First of all, they were bringing trainees into it. If this was the CEO, if you guys want us to think, and this is where me and Mel, we talk about this all the time. If you want us to think that this person was so dangerous that we had to frisk him 3 or 4 times, we had to move the bag out of the way, then why did you allow people in McDonald's? Why did you allow Patriot to go back and forth to the bathroom that was right near the door? Why were you guys so relaxed and chilling, right? Why did you bring trainees to McDonald's? Most of these guys were trainees. And why did we need a canine officer there? It's like the craziest thing. I still didn't see Blue. I still didn't see the dog that called Blue. It's the most insane thing, and most of them did not have their camera on. It's just ridiculous. And they did work. There was one time when they went outside where they did have the camera on. They were looking at the picture. They were Googling Luigi photo. It's like, oh, that looked like him. Yeah, that looked like him. That's him. It was the most.
Yeah. So let's give them. I want to mention this other point that they probably wouldn't have heard in legacy media is that Fox, whenever Luigi rode inside the back, basically the entire back is for the dog, and there's only just a little compartment, probably gated, for the defendant to sit in. So you have this big dog moving around freely, and you're sitting probably up against the door with this much space, right? So it's pretty intimidating. That's just a point that came out in court as well.
Wait a minute. What did they do? I mean, did you see the dog? Did you see
No,
that?
no, no. We didn't see the dog, but under cross-examination, they wanted to make that point that basically whenever you're arrested or you're being transported with the dog has all the space in the back of the SUV.
Okay.
But the defendant only has a little compartment. So,
okay.
it's probably gated and the dog is probably slobbering on you or some weirdness, who knows. But they made that point, and I'm pretty sure in trial they're going to make that point as well. I just want to Brutally Honest has been very supportive of the channel today, so I want to put her comment out there. She said the bag is key. If that gets thrown out, things are going to change significantly.
Well, they're saying no. Who was it? It was was it you? I don't think it was during your conversation, but it was another conversation that I heard about the Luigi case. Apparently, they're saying that's not true. Apparently, they're saying that there are other evidence that they could use in order to continue the case. It may not, because I can't say that they're wrong, because we have had cases where officers did not have the weapon, and officers did not even have the body where people was found guilty. You understand what I'm saying? So if the case get dropped, someone was, I don't know if it was your show, Mel, or it was somebody else's show that said that that does not necessarily mean that the case is dropped if the bag get dropped.
Yeah,
Because
that's the attorney Calvin Johnson. That's his opinion. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So Calvin Johnson said the same thing. I thought the same thing too. Once they throw the bag, that's it. But to me, I think once they throw the McDonald conversation and they find that illegal, you even approaching him and taking and looking at his ID, I think that should be game over right then and there, because everything should be dropped from there, because you shouldn't have had a conversation with him without a warrant. I mean, without a Miranda rights.
I think if he had not have given his ID, I think he would have stood a chance. That's just my opinion. That's everything seemed to hinge on the fake ID because they were able to run it. You know, they were able to run it.
But even if they ran it, that's what I'm saying. Even the fact if he give me one second, even if they ran the fake ID, right? They said that they ran the fake ID. Even if they ran the fake ID, the fact of the matter is that when it comes to Luigi, right? They should not have, whether it's a fake ID or not, they should not have continued the conversation. That's my thing. That's my whole conversation. The conversation should not have continued once they realized that it wasn't, they felt that it wasn't him. That's what it should not, the conversation should not have happened. They continue to have a conversation. They searched him 3 times, and that's it. They can't say, which is what they're trying to say, that, oh, because we detained him, we had a right to go as far as we did. And because once we decided we were going to arrest him, that's when we read his Miranda rights. That's not how it's supposed to go. Officers should not be able to just do stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. I may be alone in this, in my theory, when it comes to civil rights. You can't approach me if I'm having lunch and I'm giving a breakfast and I'm giving you an ID, and all of a sudden you say, oh, I saw you. Because my first thing is, like, the thing about Luigi should have actually pushed it and said that, are you arresting me? That's what he should have done. He was actually too quiet, to be honest with you. He should have said, are you arresting me? So that we could have a conversation. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but I know me, if I'm having my lunch and police officers is coming to ask me questions, I'm gonna be like, why are you asking me a question? Like, I'm having my breakfast. Like, what are we doing? And you ask me for my ID, and I give you my ID. First of all, I probably won't give you my ID right away, because why are you asking me for my ID? I'm minding my business having breakfast. Why are you asking me for my ID? But let's just say in New York, we know that we are authorized after 2016. There is laws in New York and everything like that. That says, because now we're living in an immigration state, that we have to show our IDs, right? So that's something that became a federal law. So I know that I have to walk around New York with my ID. So let's say I'm in a mood and I'll give you my ID, because most of the time I don't want to give you my ID, because I'm gonna give you a hard time. Period. I'm just like, I'm on my way. Why are you stressing me out? Why are you harassing me? I'm doing my own thing. But let's just say I give you my ID. Once I give you my ID and you see my face and my ID, don't ask me no questions. What are you asking me a question for? Like, I gotta go. I got to go, right? That's my whole attitude. My whole attitude is stink. Why are you questioning me for? Why are you stopping me? Like, what you doing? And from the moment that I tell you I have nothing to say to you, and I show you my ID, if I'm so inclined, unless you're going to arrest me, you better read me my Miranda rights. There's no other conversation. Don't ask me nothing else.
Right. So listen. Opening thinks that he's going to get life, right? Potentially, or more, probably even. Brian Cantrell thinks 10 years. He thinks 10 years. What do you think?
First of all, I don't even know. I want to see if the case continues, to be honest with you. If the defense is good, they should have the McDonald conversation thrown out, the back thrown out. If they have the McDonald conversation and the back thrown out, it should be in story, and that's it. And then if this is a state case, right, then the federal government will come in and try to do their case, because I think there's going to be try to do 2 cases, I believe, because there's a conversation of the federal government coming in too. But I think that, I don't know if I'm hearing it correctly, but I think they have another case for him, right?
Oh, okay.
So I believe so. This is what I keep hearing, but again, I could just be wrong because I'm hearing it from different sources.
I want to run this back.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
but I don't know how many years. I don't know if they, to be honest with you, let's answer the question about how many years. depending what jury they have, right? Depending what jury they have, I don't think he's going to get life. I'll be very surprised because of his demeanor, because of if they bring up the healthcare situation, if they bring up his health. Apparently he had health problems also. They may push for a mental illness defense, right? And if they put in a mental illness defense, I don't think he's going to get life. That's just my opinion.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to run back your video one time and then we're going to go over and watch the press conference.
Thank you.
All right. So let's just run this back here. Let's see if I can get this back up here. All right. Let's see. Let's remove this one. Not here.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Well, that's a press conference.
Yeah, the other one wouldn't play. So.
Oh, you want me to? You remember you have it in the private chat, just in case you need it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, but she's
First
to
of
them
all,
outside.
we want to thank everyone for coming and for sitting through a 3-week mini trial that should have been a half a day. MAP hearings and Huntley hearings to suppress statements and evidence usually take a half a day, maybe a day. We were told this was going to be several days, but this went on for 3 weeks unnecessarily, and lots of witnesses were called. And in fact, today we were fully expecting the case detective, Detective Diaz, to testify. And it was only after Lieutenant Leonardi testified about the illegal wiretap of Mr. Mangione in Altoona, Pennsylvania, that they withdrew statement notice, and now suddenly we're not going to have the lead case detective in this case. It's significant. There was a lot of open questions that we wanted to question him about, especially the very prejudicial statement made by the chief of detectives at the time there was a press conference a year ago where they were talking about all the probable cause and the reasons they had to believe that Mr. Mangione committed this crime. And one of those things was that they relied on a statement made by his mother that she said she could see him doing something like this. That's an absolutely false statement. That was never said. And in fact, we asked for discovery regarding that. The prosecution told us they gave us all the discovery. We've even subpoenaed materials from San Francisco Police Department. There is no such statement. It was never made. In fact, it was the opposite. What Mrs. Mangione said was that she could never see her son being a risk to himself or others. And we put that on the record again today, and that still has not been corrected by either the NYPD or the Manhattan DA's office. That's a prejudicial statement that has been repeated many, many times. And yes, I'm repeating it here, but because you all have published this over and over and over again, because this was an essential piece of information that Detective Kenny said was relied upon by the NYPD in this case. So we want the NYPD or the San Francisco PD or the Manhattan DA to correct this very prejudicial statement that was never said. So thank you very much for coming.
Why did this Mrs. Mangione about that?
So thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate it all, and we'll see you again soon.
Why did this pretrial last so long?
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Thanks, everybody.
And
Hi, everyone.
we hope Christmas music.
So on Friday when
I'm glad. You see, I asked her to go speak to you. See, I just want to make sure I stand on this. When they were upstairs, they said, no, we will not have a press conference downstairs. I said to them, you should really go downstairs to speak to the press. And look, they went downstairs to see the press. If you see my clip, they said, no, we're not going to do it. And I said, y'all really should go downstairs to speak to the press. So I'm glad that they actually did it. I'm just unhappy I didn't get the clip. So if you could send me the clip so I could share it on my channel, because I think it's because of our conversation that they actually went downstairs and had the presser. And continue, Mel.
all right, I'm going to try to play that clip again. Give me 1 second.
Yes, please play it so they can see what happened beforehand. There it is. Yes.
I know, I should.
Next is we have
Oh, and by the way, just so you know, Mark Agnifilo and Brian Steele follows this channel. So And the other day, Friday in court, well, what the last day, he came and shook my hand and said he enjoyed commentary. So he's probably seen some of the commentary we've had here talking about it. But that's not the reason why I'm chill. You know, I can be expressive, but I don't.
I
I'm not.
can't, Mark.
I don't have an angle on people.
I
So
do. Mark, I'm
you
very
do.
disappointed in you. Very
You do.
disappointed in you.
Yeah,
That's all I
you
want to say.
never
I'm
know.
very
Listen,
disappointed.
you never know who's watching, but that's not why I'm chill. But I'm just saying. All right, so I'm gonna play this. All right, cool.
Very disappointed.
Where's the boss? Are we talking outside? No, I don't think so.
So
You
you
see?
got nothing to say about how Luigi feels about what's going on with this case? I mean, I just heard about the legal wiretap. Have you spoken to him? Well, how does he feel about how everything is going on?
We're not going to
Because
share what we anything about our client. I
at
promise.
all, so there's nothing. Is he
I think she's very amazing. I think she's much better than any attorney Diddy has.
feeling
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Okay.
optimistic or anything? Nothing. You're not saying nothing. All right. Think of giving us a interview or something. The media. Say,
Thank you. You see?
we're allowing.
Prosecution still hasn't corrected the record.
Say that one time. The prosecutor did what?
They still haven't corrected the record.
They should correct the record, right?
They still haven't.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Thank you for telling us. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great day.
I stand on it. I think all the media should thank me for talking her into giving them a interview downstairs, even though I miss it. Mel, please send me that clip because I want to add my clip to the clip that the presser to push this narrative because they said no upstairs. And because
So
I asked them to speak to the media, they went downstairs and did the media.
I went downstairs and I recorded it live, so that's how I have it. So
Yes, so please send it to me so I can put the two clips together. I want to put a bigger clip together so that everybody could see that they said no. But once I asked them, they went downstairs, and I'm pissed that I had to go to work because I should have been able to capture that myself. And I want that clip. Thank you so much.
okay, very good. All right. So, any other thoughts in regards to the time that he may receive?
No, I mean that's it. I mean, depending on what jury they have. Again, I think I think the defense has a very good case. But I just think that the judge is really, and I get what the judge is doing. The judge and everyone who watched Fox News believe that Luigi is the guy. And the police officers believe that's why they all ran there. 13 police officers went there because they want to be a hero. They caught this guy who unalived somebody that looked like them, that could be their brother or their brother-in-law or their cousin. These police officers, to me, not only doing their job, I just have a sense because Fox News made it such a thing that they really believe that they did what they had to do to capture this uber evil person. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but a lot of the things that they did was illegal, in my opinion, and it should not stand. Like the fact of the matter is, just because you feel that you're capturing a bad person doesn't mean that you have to break all these rules and regulations, or none of us will have our rights. Like none of us will have our rights if they are allowed to do it. Now, I did mention to you that we wanted to talk about Rob Rayner. I think the reason why, because somebody said it, I didn't say it, but I heard someone said in the media, the reason why that they're holding on so tight to what happened with Nick unaliving his mom, his dad, which is Rob Rayner and Michelle Rayner, is because they're watching this particular case. And they feel that a lot more police officers are going to hold on to be less forthcoming with the media and more tight with their investigation as a result of what Pennsylvania did.
Okay. All right. Uncommon says, didn't the ID have Garcia on it? I believe it had Mark Rosario, not Garcia, according to what I remember from being in court. All right. Very good. So let's move on. Let's see. Gold Digger says illegal wiretap, sending police to his mother's house. Where was his lawyer in all of this? Did he have one at this point?
No, all of this happened in most of media. This is what you have to understand. Everything that they, according to my understanding, everything that was done prior to him, even I think the conversation with his mom happened prior to his arrest. I could be wrong, but that's why everything is being thrown out. Everything was done prior to his Miranda rights, like, prior to the warrant. And this is why they're in a lot of trouble.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. I'm looking to see if we have any more questions here. Guys, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Also, Stella says we need to use the word weapon instead of, I don't know if I used it or you did, but we have to use those kind words.
Oh, I think I was saying
Probably was me,
I think I said pew pew, but I don't know. Sorry
Yeah,
about
yeah. It's just too much for me to handle at one moment, so I have to try to think of all these things at one time. Brutally honest says,
Oh, I think
bag
you
goes out.
chat. I think that you reading
Oh, yeah, there we go. There we
you
go.
reading
Okay.
chats. Okay.
Okay. So bag goes out with weapon in it and also ammunition. Okay. Means the ballistic evidence done of the fired
Pew pew.
uh, casings are now also no longer part of the evidence because you no longer can bring up and compare with the weapon. Okay, this is a job now. Okay, guys, so let's just explain. There's a whole list of words we can't use. Obviously, anything associated with violence. Can we even say violence? I mean, this is
I
ridiculous.
mean,
Like,
yeah, I think you
we
can.
can't even have a normal conversation. We can't say the B word. We can say explosive. You can't say the G word, but you can say weapon, so forth. So you guys get it. So in the comments, if you could, I'm not being too picky because I could care less. But it's YouTube rules. I'm just telling you like it is.
And
So
TikTok, Instagram.
when I'm reading this stuff, it's hard for me to do 3 shows a day and then try to figure out what I'm reading. It's like by the end of the night, like now. So anyway, work with me and put the proper words. I don't expect everybody to know it, but let's try to, use kind words or descriptive words that are not so violent. Okay, so you want to address her comment here? And thank you, by the way, for this brutally honest. We're all trying to learn this thing together.
Yes, I mean, I agree. I think I don't think it's game over if they no longer have that, according to some actual legal analysis, but also based on I guess I watch too many movies and mystery stories and watch a lot of real life court cases. They have found people guilty without having the actual weapon, or even they have found people guilty without actually finding the actual victim. If they have other evidence, the criminal evidence, like the video and the photo and everything, and they have his itinerary, and they could prove that he went back and forth in the car, they could actually build a case. But what I'm saying is that it may be hard for them to move forward if they get the McDonald original questioning thrown out. Because why did you approach him? How do you know that's the guy? Why did you tell him to move his hat and his mask? If they throw all of that out, I think that's gonna go a long way, because I mean, you gotta let him go. Like, you didn't have a right to pull him over. You didn't have a right to question him. You didn't read his Miranda right. You didn't have a right to check his pocket. Then you didn't have a right to detain him. Then you didn't have a right to go through his bag. You understand what I'm saying? I think the ID, getting the ID portion of it dropped, will probably go a long way with getting this case.
All right. So can we take a moment now? Let's just do a reset. Can you explain to everybody what this case is about? We have so many new people here that may not fully understand what's going on.
So the case is about Luigi I cannot pronounce
Mangione.
Mangione. I am very bad, people. I could tell you right now. That's why I defer back to Mel. Mel remembers names a lot better than I do, and he has all the pronunciation. But it's about Luigi Mangione, which is the young male that unalived the CEO of, I think, United Healthcare in New York
Brian
City.
Thompson.
His name is Brian Thompson, and may he rest in peace, and may his family get justice. That's who we're talking about right now. I mean, they just finished the hearing, just like his defense lawyer Karen said. That should have been just a one-day, couple of hour hearing about the evidence that they collected, and the arrests of Mr. Luigi, and the fact that the defense believed that a lot of the evidence should be dropped from the case. So that's what the case was about. What is going to be kept and what's going to be dropped. Because the reason why we're having the conversation is because they did not have, in my opinion, the right to question him without reading his Miranda rights. One, they did not read his Miranda rights until about 20 somewhat minutes into stopping him while he's eating breakfast and asking him to remove his hat and mask. They felt that it was the right guy, but they didn't go to proper procedures. Besides questioning him, they also did not have a right to search his belongings and search his bag without a warrant. They also continued to do an illegal wiretapping of him prior to reading him his Miranda rights before questioning him. Then they went to speak to his mom, and they're saying allegedly they misquoted the mom. So they're doing all of this to capture this guy because the key to, and I call them the Keystone Cops. And if you don't know what Keystone Cops is, please go look in their 1950s, 1960s. They believe they're heroes. And they saw this guy that they believe that unalived somebody that looked like them, looked like a family member, looked like one of their boys, and they wanted to bring this guy to justice, but they broke all kind of rules in order to do it. So now they're trying to go backwards to figure it out.
Okay, so here's a question from Gold Digger. Is there any information about his mental health background?
No, the defense is not the defense. I was asking that question in my own way. Like, is there anything you want to tell us? How is he feeling and anything like that? The defense is not talking about anything as far as I know, as far as his mental health, his background or anything. They actually did not ask him any questions. He just was in court just to hear. I haven't heard anything. Now, prior to it, there was a lot of conversations about him, about his health and stuff like that. The media had some information that they got, but we didn't hear anything about that in court.
Well, wait a minute. Aetna, the insurance company, I believe now, let me just say allegedly, I don't want no smoke with them. They accidentally faxed over his medical records to the
Really?
Yeah, so we got to talk about that. Well, I don't want to get into that part.
No,
yeah, so I think 100. I think it was 100 pages. You have to look it up. So they accidentally faxed over to the DA, I believe, his medical records. So that's a big problem, and I'm pretty sure. Well, I can't impute bad motives to them. That maybe it was because of some issues, but it did happen.
The prosecutor or the defense? Because if the prosecutor is a bad.
It went to the prosecutors. The insurance company accidentally faxed it over to the prosecutors. So that's on record. So that'll give you a little insight, Gold Digger. Now
were they watching Fox News too?
Maybe, who knows, right? But anyway, this is all allegedly, and it's all in the news, so you can check it out. She also wants to know what was inscribed on the ammo.
Yeah, you told me about that. You said, I think you are the one that told us what.
So there was three words on 3 of the ammo: delay, deny, and depose. But it's based on a book that's called Defend, Deny, Delay. So there you have it. That's what's inscribed on it. Okay, and openings. Back up what I said.
Deny,
okay.
And depose. Okay.
Thank you, brutally honest. Appreciate it very much. Okay.
It was delayed, denied.
And these are the words used by insurance companies when people are battling with cancer and all sorts of tough illnesses. And I know people don't want to think about it, but hey, listen, that's the reason why when he went to his arraignment and Fox took him, Fox said that he made the statement, meaning Luigi Mangione, says, I can't believe all these reporters and people are here for a mass murderer. And then a lot of reporters went out and they thought that he was referring to himself, but he was actually, in my opinion, referring to Brian Thompson, because he's saying, if he said it, right, because the officer said his camera battery died. So as far as we know, the officer could have made it up, right? But at any rate, I think Luigi, if he said it, he meant it about Brian Thompson, because the insurance companies, they allow people to die at a large rate every day because they're not getting the care. That's the assumption. Okay. Yeah. Let's get that clear. Okay. Yeah, very good.
If it's him, if he said it, I think, and this is where I think that they're going to be very careful with picking the jury, because if they have an empathetic juror, and that's the thing they're pissing a lot of people on Fox News and a lot of our mega brothers and sisters, because I've heard it said several times, oh, he's not going to be able to be found guilty in New York because New York is so biased against cases like that. So the prosecutor is going to have to be very good at picking up a 12 juror that's not going to be empathetic or sympathetic, and that has not been denied services from the healthcare system. Because there's no reason that Brian Thompson should have been taken unalive. Period. I don't care. I say this all the time. I am a pew violence prevention advocate for many years. Still a volunteer for one of the biggest organizations, even though I'm taking a break. And I do not believe in unaliving anybody. Period. With that said, though, we as a community have a lot of animosity against our healthcare system. And we're being told that come January 1st, 20 millions of our brothers and sisters healthcare is going to be jacked up double as a result of the administration, right, that's currently taking over. So there's going to be a lot of angry people out there. There's going to be a lot of angry people. So it's going to be difficult for them, in my opinion, to get a jury that's going to give him the D penalty. They're trying to talk about they're going to give him a D penalty. And they may, if he continues, because I know you say he seems like he's under. I don't see that at all. I just see a really genteel, quiet.
You know why? You know why?
Why?
Because you're a fan.
I'm not a fan of a fan. Look at you. I'm not a fan. Okay, let me put it out there, but
hey, you got to eat. You said it about me, so I have to throw it back at you.
Give it back to me. I know where you get it from, but I gotta be honest with you. I've been in a lot of rooms with very bad people. I've been in a lot of rooms with very.
You gotta explain that.
I mentioned it on several times. Like there's something about my family that we have like an instinct when it comes to like bad people, like bad energy. It's very hard for me to get fooled. Now, I did get fooled by somebody that we know very well that covered the Diddy trial, that I actually ended up liking. And I thought that he was 100% to find out that he was a Diddy supporter and he was playing all of us. But most cases, though, when I meet somebody, they have a powerful energy, and very bad people for me have a very dark energy that like kind of make my skin crawl or kind of like raise the hair on my arms. You understand what I'm saying? And I was expecting to have the same type of energy. And I worked with some very bad people. Like I volunteered and worked with some people have done horrific things. So trust me when I tell you, I've been in company of bad people. So it's surprising to me when I went into the room, and I went in there several times, that I did not feel any negative or bad energy coming from this guy. It's just, when he gets up, when he moves, there's nothing about him that exude anything threatening that would make you think that he's the one that unalived Brian Thompson.
So you said that when you saw Diddy, your skin crawled, but when you saw Luigi, you felt calm. Just
calmness. I'm like, that's him? Like, really? I mean, that's the guy.
What was it about Diddy that made your skin crawl?
He's just an evil person. Like, there's just something evil about him. Like, he's just not a nice person. He's just, first of all, I mean, I have to say that I've been following his career for a long time, and I've always had this animosity towards, even after what he did with Jennifer Lopez. So I've always had my thing with him, but I became a fan of his when he did I started becoming a fan of his when he did the soundtrack with for Bad Boys, the Bad Boys movie, right? I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, and then I started hearing his other music, so I became a fanish of his because I loved his music and stuff like that. I did watch him when he was doing Making the Band. I didn't like the way he treated the interns, but I enjoyed him in Making the Band. So I could say that my animosity towards him decreased when I was actually watching him. But then I've heard, and a lot of people are talking about that Biggie mom. I remember, and I'm looking for it. I haven't found it yet. I remember Diddy mom having an issue with Biggie mom, right, having an issue with Diddy during the funeral. I remember the reason why it's so prominent in my mind, and this is why everybody going back and forth with the actual documentary where they said that one of the people said that Diddy did not pay for the funeral. You know what I'm saying? And Diddy was like, "That's not right." I remember a conversation. I remember the reason why is I don't know if you guys know Stack Bundles, who was unalive in Rockaway. Flip and I, that's Queen's Flip and I, really was helpful to the family as a result of the actual funeral services and stuff like that for Stack Bundle, because Stack Bundle was like his mentor, his brother. So I knew everything that we did when it came to the funeral services, setting them up. I was the head security there when I was working with the city. I worked with CAU and I worked with the funeral service. So I was pretty much unofficially in charge of the front, not the family. Please understand, I don't want the family coming after me and telling me saying I'm trying to take credit. No, I'm not trying to take credit for Stack Bundles funeral. The family did it. I was just there to help the uncle, one of the uncles. So I know everything that went in. So when I heard Biggie mom said something about Puff Daddy about the funeral services, something she said. I don't know if it was one of the documentaries, something I read. It rang through to me, and I've always remembered it, that she was mad at him about something when it came to the funeral. I remember that conversation, but I need to look at it. So I'm saying that from the way he did with Diddy mom, Biggie mom, not Diddy, Biggie mom, and stuff like that. And then I didn't think of Diddy. I didn't think of Diddy at all until recently when they started talking about how he took a lot, he wouldn't give the artists their production rights and stuff like that. And we started hearing about some of, even though I don't like Aubrey, because she was Don Jr. side piece, Donald Trump Jr. side piece and stuff like that. So I don't like Aubrey, but I remember what she had to say about the way he treated her. So I remember that. So we fast forward now to all these little things, even though I was a fan of his music, all these little things that I heard about Diddy. And then I saw Cassie's lawsuit and I'm like, there it is. There it is. Right? This piece of so when I saw him in person, his arrogance, it's like his whole arrogance, the way he walked in, the way he sat down, and the papers, he kept on passing papers to these lawyers. And you could see, first of all, his lawyers was intimidated by him, right? Every time they would say something, he would write something down and pass it, and you could see them, they kind of jump, right? And change the narrative. I'm like, look at this asshole. It's like he's putting words into their mouth. They're not running his case. He's running the case. So I wasn't surprised when I saw the documentary when he was telling Mark on tape what to do, right? So I just didn't like him. I just don't like him. So when he came in, so I wasn't in his room with him. I wasn't in the room. I was in the overflow room until the last day when we came back, the last hearing, after he was found guilty on 2 charges. And he was found guilty on 2 charges, guys. He's not innocent. We came back because I guess they wanted to drop the case again, and then we came back to court. That's when I was in the same room with him. And when he walked in, I'm like, yo, this motherfucker he's dark. And I also want you guys to do me a favor. He has a huge tattoo on the back of his back, and only one person. There's a DJ Cree is on TikTok, and I haven't been on DJ Cree's show for a long time. He did a great live, and I'm sorry I'm sharing people different channels on your thing, Mel, but I want people to research. DJ Cree on TikTok had a very interesting live on TikTok about the tattoo that is on Diddy's back. Okay, the tattoo that is on Diddy back is, a lot of people call her the Black Madonna, but actually she is a photo of a saint that a lot of Haitian people, especially those who practice the voodoo, and I'm not saying that voodoo is black arts. I'm not saying that. Voodoo is a religion to us Haitian people. I'm Haitian descent. But that tattoo represents a very powerful saint. And you guys have to look it up. When I saw that he actually put that huge tattoo in his back, that that particular picture could be used for good and bad. All right. And that particular set is known for working with men that have huge sexual appetite. You guys, everything I have to say, you guys have to look. Just go look, just Google the tattoo and look into the history of the depiction of that tattoo. It could be used for goodness and it could be used for bad. So when he walked into that room, when I was in there, I'm like, yo, this mofo have this really bad, dark energy. And again, I've never been in a room with Diddy before in my life until that moment. And that's how I felt. And I was like, everything that I read about him, I've seen about him, it just became real when I was in the same room with him. And that's it.
Okay, very good. Sounds like a plan. So let's see if I could go back. Brutally Honest brought up the peanut butter jar. You want to talk about that?
What peanut butter jar? What is a peanut butter jar? I don't know anything about a peanut butter jar. What is that?
Okay, Luigi Mangione, when they searched him the first time, they didn't find it, but the second time when they searched him, he had a peanut butter jar in his jacket.
Apparently, they felt
when they found the knife, but they also explained
they
it
didn't find a knife. No. They didn't find a knife. He told them that he had a knife.
But they found it. They still found it.
They didn't find him, but he said he had the knife. The thing is,
it was simultaneously.
They asked. I don't want to argue with you. They asked him, "Do you have anything on you?" He said, "I have a knife." So they didn't go searching there for the knife. He voluntarily said that I have a knife on me. That's what he said. Now, of course, he didn't say he had a gun or a pew. I'm sorry, a weapon in his back pocket. He said, "I have something in my pocket," and they searched him. They searched him 3 times. They did too much.
Yeah.
So the third search, they found peanut butter jar on the third search. That was crazy.
I think it's the second search.
Lord have mercy.
Right at the same time they found a knife on him, they found a peanut butter jar. Lord. And as the guy's about to search him up real thorough, then he says he has a knife. So it was simultaneous. It wasn't like, hey guys, I have a, it was more like, okay, you about to check me. It's like when you're going through the metal detector at the courthouse, you tell them you have your gun on you or something like that, right?
Yeah, but they have to ask you if you have something.
I'm being funny. I'm just being funny.
The fact is, they were wrong. They were wrong to even take that.
So the peanut butter, the point I was making, the peanut butter and the knife came out pretty much around the same time. So
okay, I didn't know they
on the second search. So that's what Brutally Honest was talking about. Shout out to you, Brutally Honest. Okay, let's see. Opening says, I don't see many people of color covering this, and wanted to know, do you think it would have been different if the CEO was black?
Oh, that's a great question. I think the reason why a lot of us is not covering it is because people are not really interested because it's not the trial yet. I think only people like us would be really interested because right now we're trying. It's almost like a bail hearing. You're not really gonna pay attention to the bail hearing. Jury, a lot of people don't go in to select jurors. They really want to be in the meat of it, right? So I think that's why people are not interested. Also, I think people of color would be more empathetic. I love my black people, but we are really strict when we take a position, right? I think more black people will be more empathetic because black people has been more, I can't say we've been more denied, but we understand the difficulty and complexity of the healthcare system. I think that we'll probably be more empathetic. So that's why we wouldn't be rushing to say too much. Also, and I'm going to say the third thing possibly is a white on white issue. It's a white T on white T issue. It's a white T male unalive another white T male. So if it was a black person, maybe we'll be more interested.
Am I the only black male in the courtroom other than police officers? Right? I think I'm the only black person.
You're the only black male
black male in the building. Yeah,
exactly. I'm the and I'm not. We had other black females there, but you are the only black male in the
courtroom the whole time. Yeah,
There's been a couple that look more brown, like maybe Latino, maybe Asian Indian, maybe. But yeah, you're the only black male that I've seen actually come in besides the court officers.
Okay. And I'm not there as a fan. I'm just there covering. All right. Opening says, I think if the suspect was a black person, he would have been handled with any dignity at the McDonald's. Okay.
would not
You
have
know
been.
what I mean?
I agree, but there's I want to do a caveat there. Yes, they were less, even though they're trying to make it as if they were so scared. The reason why they broke all these laws is because they were scared because it was a dangerous person. I think they probably would have arrested if it was a black person. I think first of all they would have had the riot squad out there. They would have had FBI. They would have had a riot squad. They would have had everything. They wouldn't have gone in there with two plainclothes police officers to speak to a young man at McDonald's. Nah, they would have emptied out the McDonald's. They would have had the riot squad. They would have had the bugler. They would have had everybody out there to try to get it if it was a black person. To be honest with you.
Okay. All right.
They weren't afraid of him. There was nothing about them that showed there was an inch afraid of Luigi at all when they were at the McDonald's. Nothing.
384 wants to know, what do you think is going to happen with Nick Reiner or Reiner?
Okay, thank you for mentioning Nick Ryan. Let me tell you something about Nick Reiner. I'm very upset about this case. First of all, I'm a huge fan. I know I'm biased. Let me put that there. I'm a huge fan of Rob Reiner since All in the Family. First of all, I'm giving you my age. I watch almost every episode of All in the Family. I love Mike. I thought he did a great job against his bigoted father-in-law, and I've known about this for years. So, also, I love When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, and also I've always followed him. I follow him on Twitter, so I've always appreciate his stance when he was fighting against the Trump regime. So I loved him, right? I also appreciate the fact that he was also a father who supported his children, especially his son, Nick, who apparently had an addiction. What's pissing me off about this case right now, that I'm going to have a hard time, is the fact that I think that Nick is using his father's money and his mother's money to hire this shark of a lawyer, right? That's already trying to, and I haven't seen that they haven't yet put in not a verdict. They haven't yet put a plea in, but I think, because I heard something about them saying that he's schizophrenic, so I think that he's going to use his parents' money to try to fight this case, and that's pissing me off. That is really pissing me off. I think everyone should have a right to have proper legal representation, but I hate it when both sides use the law for lies. Like I hate the fact that, in my opinion, the police officers in Pennsylvania, they skirted the rules of search and seizure and arrest in order to get Luigi. Now I'm pissed off that Nick is going to use his family money to hire this multi-million-dollar lawyer in order to try to get him off the case, because we see that the fact is that once he unalived his mom and dad, allegedly, we'll say allegedly, unalived his mom and dad, he left the house. According to the reports, he went to a hotel, he took a shower, right? He went to a store and he had something to eat and drink, right? There was nothing about him unaliving his family that showed he had any type of remorse at all. So now we got to sit here and listen to you use your family legacy and money to say what? What are you going to say now? That they caused it? They forced you to do it? After they gave you 12 times you've been in rehab, you were still living in their guest house, and you had a fight with them at a Christmas party, and allegedly, this is what I'm hearing, the parents invited you to the Christmas party to go with them because they didn't want to leave you alone for the holidays, and now you're going to use their money because apparently he didn't have any money. The only money he had is, unless he used the money to have stocks and trades and bought some Trump corn bits, right? Because maybe he has money from Trump. But according to my understanding is that unless his grandfather left him legacy, the money he's going to be using is from his family. And I don't like that. So that's what's going on with that. I'm very upset about the case that he unalived his family. I think he should have a right to be seen, but I would hope that somebody like that with all that evidence would make a plea and say, I'm guilty, and let's move it forward. But he's fighting it. So let's see what you got to say. I'm waiting for the plea. I'm waiting for the official plea. And then the nerve. And here's another thing. What pissed me off. Who the hell? God, let me calm down. let me come back, because I don't want the judges to think I have anything against the judges. I have all respect for judges. I really do. Can you tell me why is it that all of us have to appear in front of a camera and that this mofo was hidden? Why was he hidden, guys? What type of money was spent that we couldn't see him in front of the camera? Even when we are in a Zoom call, you see all our black and brown brothers, all our white tea brothers, when we go to court, even in Zoom, we have a picture. How did he get away with doing the plea behind a plastic? And there's no, this is the state. Wasn't it a state? Isn't it a state? Why wasn't he on camera? The media was in there. Why wasn't he on camera? Why was he hidden from us? It just goes to show money and power just too much. I don't like the fact that he's using his family power, money, and power to try to get away with this. That's just my thing. So.
All right, very good. So to answer openings questions, yes, I will be at the federal case, the trials. I'll be at everything. I'm pretty sure you will too, right?
Yes, I will do my best to be there. Yes, on
all right. This is what we do. This is what we do. I think it's time to bring it to an end, though. It's been a long show. Would you like to give some closing arguments before we leave?
I just want to thank you again. We came back in. Mel asked us to come back because there were some people that were saying, "Oh, you guys didn't talk about Luigi the other night." So we want to be able to thank Mel after his three lives to want to actually come back on here so we could have our Luigi conversation. So thank you for that, and thank you for allowing me to come in and have my piece and my say about it.
All right, awesome. Nice, very good.
Mel is trolling.
Yeah.
What are you trolling? You trolling me?
Yeah, I was trolling you when you were making fun of me, calling me a Diddy fan, you know.
He's not. No, he's not. I'm only kidding, guys.
Listen, so let me tell you the final story about this whole Diddy fan business, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I first started covering Diddy trial, everybody hated Diddy from the beginning. You couldn't even say at the end of the day, when Mama Combs walked out and the whole family, if you said, "Oh, we support you guys," people would go crazy. Oh, why you support his family? By the time the case was over, if Diddy had walked out of the courthouse when his verdict was read, they would have made him a mini god. That's how many people were out there. So over the 9 weeks, it went from hating Diddy to mostly 95% probably Diddy fans. So let's just get that clear. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree with you, except for I had the reverse experience, right? I had that when I got there, because remember, I started covering the trial since the bail hearing. I was outside. I wasn't inside. I was outside covering it since the bail hearing. So I've been there since the beginning. With me, the first day I went outside, right, to cover it, during lunch, people would come. I didn't plan to go inside the courthouse at all. I was planning to do the same thing with the bail hearing, just to capture people filming outside when people come out to see what they said. When I came the first day, it was probably, it was the second day, because the first day was the officer. But when I came in the second day, they had Cassie, and I heard everybody saying, "Oh, they caught her. She's lying. Oh, they're doing the good. Oh, she's getting dragged. Oh, and also the police officer from the day before, they caught him lying too. He lied, they lying." I'm like, I'm looking at everybody outside, because everybody was outside. I'm like, she's lying. I'm like, how she lying? How they catching the lying? Because I knew when I read her lawsuit, to me, everything she said read through to me. How is she lying? So I always felt that they were hating against the survivors and everybody. They always was on his side from the second day I was there, and they never changed. So I've never seen they were Diddy haters when they came in there, ever. From the moment I came in, it was like everybody was a love fest. And when they thought he was about to get bailed, they had a party out there. I'm telling the PR, the PR setup for Diddy was amazing, because they set this thing up. And when he come out, they're gonna try to make him into a god still.
Yeah. I said that, people don't believe me, but they'll see when he comes out. The internet doesn't remember long, and neither do they care. And that's something that we have to face with this generation. So, hey, listen, it's time to call it a night. Thank everybody for tuning in. It's awfully kind of you guys to spend your time with us. You want to give them some words of encouragement for your great fan base out there?
I don't think I have a great fan base, but thank you so much. I think that you guys should. We appreciate that you guys come in and have ask us questions and have your say, especially when we have our political conversation. We really appreciate you guys. Please continue to come and follow us and share in our channel because there's a lot of stuff coming out in 2026. There's so much trials that's coming out. I'm trying to probably go to the Taylor hearing. Apparently, there's two brothers. I think their last name is Taylor or Robinson, not Taylor, Robinson, the Robinson brothers that have a very similar case with Diddy, but with immigrants victims. So I'm trying to cover that trial too. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's in the same the same court case. So I'm interested in that trial. So there's a lot of hearing that's coming up. Please follow us, and we'll be very interested. Did they even start the case with the why can't I remember the young man that unalived in the teenagers, one who unalived the YT teenager in the back of the basketball, the tent?
That's I'm going to be covering that case. I'm flying to Texas. That's Carmelo Anthony. That should start in June.
So it's next year, June. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be flying out. I'll just be watching your coverage because I can't take the time off.
I'm also going to fly out for Tyler Robertson probably next week in regards to the Charlie Kirk case. Yeah.
I would. That's the case. I would really, if I would take time off.
Utah. I'll be flying to Utah for that. So
if that's the case, if anything, I would go to. But I'll be following you and commenting from the side. But if that would be any case that I would try to find out for, would be that case. But I can't.
I wanted to go. I was going to fly to Miami for Megan Thee Stallion, but I was in Costa Rica, so I couldn't go. But I really wanted to go for that too.
Well, she won, even though a lot of people thinking that she didn't win. In my opinion, Megan won. As long as she was able to prove defamation, she won. I mean, I know Milagros, they have a lot of fans with Milagros and stuff like that. And as new media, I do want to make sure that we are recognized for our work as journalists and stuff like that. I do want us to get the respect, but I'm kind of talking at a two-sided of my face because I understand what Milagros did because she supported Troy Lane, and then she pushed the narrative as far as Megyn Kelly being a liar. That was the whole thing, and then she shouldn't have pushed the IG corn on Megyn. I mean, Megyn, I think she went too far for that, but I can understand her having the feeling of one side versus another and pushing it out. Because that's what I did when it came with the Diddy trial. I'm just so against Diddy that there was nothing anybody could have told me that would have been on the side of Diddy. And I said it. But with me, everything I've ever said had to do with actual paperwork. Everything I've said, I have receipts for. Everything I said, the reason why I feel the way I did, I had receipts for why I felt that way, what he did, how he did it, how he conducted himself. So I just felt, but Milagros probably the same.
I've found you wrong 18 times already.
I disagree with you. Name me one time I was wrong.
I'm just messing with you. So listen,
but thank you guys.
Brutally Honest gave $3 super sticker. That's awfully kind of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And also, any thoughts on Karen Reed civil case? That's what 384 asked.
Can you remind me, because I haven't been following the Karen Reed case at all. If guys give us a few, we'll look into it. But I can't remember right now the Karen Reed civil case. And what that had to do with. If you could tell us, just give us a little reminder, then I could give you my feedback. But right now, I'm going blank on Karen Reed right now.
Okay, so we're just hitting 2 hours. That means I've been live 6 hours today. I can't be doing this every day. This is crazy. Wow.
It's your fault.
All right, I am tired. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Take us away. I don't have the strength. Take us away. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Please, again, he keeps telling me to speak. I will continue to speak. Thank you for being here at Watching the World. It's a pleasure to be here to have you guys. Please come back. Hey, Twitter, how are you?
Your channel, your channel, your channel.
And my channel is Mama Flip Slots, MAMASFLIP Slots SLOTS. Please follow me there. We're trying to get over 10,000 subscribers.
And shout out to Grandma Flips. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.